State Transport Company, Edo Line. Edo State House of Assembly resolves the lingering political tussle in Ego Local Government Council. Plus, Senate suspends action on tax reform bills. This is the EBS Comprehensive News. A very good evening to you and welcome to the Comprehensive News. My name is Osatuhame Osunde. Welcome. And now for the details of this evening. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has expressed his desire to revive the moribund Edo State Transport Company, Edo Line. The governor disclosed this when he, alongside Deputy Right Honorable Dennis Itahosa, inspected facilities at the abandoned government-owned transportation line located along Mission Road in Benin City. According to a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Itua, the Governor, who was taken on a guided tour of the premises by the fleet manager of the Move Monkey, Jafar Inigbedion, said he was in the premises to get a first-hand information on the state of Edo Line, which has been abandoned for years, to see how it can be revived and put to use. He lamented that the vehicles for which the line, which was more than 200, has been reduced to only a few remaining vehicles, and promised to look for them, get them back, and use them to revive the transport company. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has pledged to revive the water fountain at Ring Road in Benin City. The governor made the pledge when he visited the site to ascertain the level of damage in Benin City. Government House correspondent Moses Agboma has the details.
The 200-meter musical water fountain erected inside the Benin Museum ground at Ring Road, commonly referred to as King Square, was a major part of the urban renewal project initiated by the Oshomole's administration and neglected by the immediate past government, which has now attracted the attention of Governor Monday Okpebholo, who, after an on-the-spot assessment of the project, pledged not only to revive it, but also make it a tourist attraction center for holiday makers.
Look at this place now to see for myself. I remember when Oshomole was the governor of Edo State, how beautiful this place was. We want to revive it. That is the essence of us coming here and clean up this place so that people can come here for sightseeing. You see, this place has been abandoned for some time now, so we need to revive it.
The governor also conducted monitoring exercise on the ongoing road construction projects at Obadan Road Junction as well as at Upper Mission Extension to ensure that he delivers on his promise made during his governorship inauguration ceremony. Governor Okpebholo later inspected the Edo Specialist Hospital and the Museum of West African Arts, MOWA. Moses Agboma, EBS News.
On Monday, Okpebholo has assured political and title holders, including youth of Okpela Esako East local government area, that his administration will ensure peace returns to the community to enable citizens go about their normal activities. Moses Agboma reports that Governor Okpebholo received a delegation of traditional rulers from Edo North. The report.
It is not commonplace that Okpela community in Esako East local government area of the state has been entangled with alleged marginalization, imposition of titled leaders amongst crises that have rocked the community over the years. Recall that the community alleged that the Obaseki's administration politicized the selection process of the throne of the Okokbelagbe of Okpela, thereby setting bad precedents for local customs and tradition. Governor Monday Okpebholo, who received the guests during their visit to Government House, decried the spates of killings, while assuring his administration determination to address issues surrounding the community.
I felt very sad when I started hearing bad news of killing happening in Okpela. For me, it's not acceptable. I felt it is wrong. If there is a way to address it with the letter you have just submitted now, it should be addressed. Kingship is very important to community. And no one man can just put a king to govern as so many people. So we need the collective decision of the kingmakers. I will invite you back here again. I want to see the kingmakers so that I will know the full details about what happened in Okpela and how we can resolve it as quickly as possible.
Speaking on behalf of leaders of the Okpela Council delegation, member representing Esako East Federal Constituency, Anemero Dekeri, as well as High Chief Hansen Aimofume, appealed to the governor to promptly nullify the appointment made by the immediate administration, appointing Lukman Akemokwe as the Okokbelagbe of Okpela.
We have a lot of challenges. Top of the list is the encroachment of Okpela land by the neighboring states, especially the Iran. We therefore see you as the Moses of our time that will take the people of Okpela to the promised land.
Similarly, during his meeting with traditional rulers from Edo North, Governor Okpebholo cited the role of rulers as significant and as strong instruments for internal security, pledging to collaborate with them.
Royal fathers are very strong instruments of internal security. If you look at history, they were the first security officers of every community, and that is how it's supposed to be, because they are the ones that know visitors and those indigenous that live in that community. I will work closely with the traditional rulers to bring peace to Edo State.
Spokesperson for the delegation of the Forum of Traditional Rulers from Edo North and the Olokbe of Okbe, His Royal Highness Oba Idogun III, highlighted some of the resolutions reached and ongoing talks.
Over the years, our capacity to contribute effectively to the governance has been hampered by the non-existence of this body, by the immediate past dispensation. If this body is properly constituted, it will enable us to play our role in the partnership with your government.
The kingship issue would be a thing of the past, as the Okpebholo's administration is committed to promoting peaceful coexistence in the state. Moses Agboma, EBS News.
Governor Monday Okpebholo has announced the appointment of Godswill Inegbe, a special advisor on communications, strategy, and media projects. Godswill Inegbe is seasoned professional in media, law, and politics, served as a legislative aide on media and communications to Senator Monday Okpebholo, where he demonstrated his exceptional skill in political communication and media strategy. Governor Okpebholo expressed his confidence in Negbe's ability, stressing that his strategic insights will be essential in enhancing the administration's outreach efforts and fostering transparency in governance. Godswill Inegbe holds a diploma in law from the University of Benin and a Bachelor of Arts in History and International Studies from Ambrose Lee University, Ekpoma. Governor Monday Okpebholo has approved the appointment of Dr. Mrs. Antonia Inibokun Njoku as the Chief Medical Director of Edo. A statement endorsed by the Secretary to the State Government, Umar Musa Ihilo, indicates that Njoku has served in several capacities in various health institutions. The statement added that the Dr. Mrs. Antonia Inibokun Njoku attended the College of Medical Sciences, University of Maiduguri, West African College of Surgeons, the University of Benin, and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, where she obtained the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, MBBS, MSc, among other medical qualifications. Edo State Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, says the well-articulated policies and programs of the present administration will be tailored to improve the standards of not only the APC supporters, but will benefit all Edo people irrespective of party affiliation, religious and ethnic differences. The Deputy Governor gave the assurance while playing host to women leaders of the All Progressives Congress from Ovia Southwest and Northeast local government areas. Lucky Igbinoba reports.
Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa conveyed the appreciation of Governor Monday Okpebholo to the people of Ovia for the overwhelming mandate given to them, which facilitated victory at the governorship election. He assured that the administration will not deviate from its electoral promises to place the interest of Edo people first above primordial sentiment. The Deputy Governor acknowledged the enormous potentials of women as home builders, peacemakers, good caregivers, and strong pillars of sustaining democratic system, as women constitute the highest number of eligible voters in the state.
Women are the bedrock of every victory in any election. Without women, election cannot be won. But we have won election now. My principal and I, we are not going to be governor and deputy governor of APC. We are going to be the governor and deputy governor of the good people of Edo State. I also beg that you take this message back to your various wards and local government, that those that work for us and those that did not work for us, that there should be any division. We should bring everybody on board and let's work for the interests of Edo people. For us, as a state government, we are here to put the people of Edo first before our interests. I want you to also do the same because we want a better Edo.
The women leader, All Progressive Congress of your Southwest local government area, Mrs. Victoria Ivinyo, said the visit was to felicitate with the deputy governor over the landslide victory recorded during the elections and pledged their overwhelming support to the present administration. On her part, the women leader, All Progressive Congress of your Northeast local government area, Mrs. Sonata Eweka, said the victory of the APC at the governorship election was a testament of the party's public acceptance because of its grassroots origin and people-oriented manifestos.
We are here this day to facilitate with you on your emergence as the Deputy Governor of Edo State.
It's an enhancement to the state in general. And it's a blessing to Ofia as a whole, especially if waters over.
The visit clamoured with the presentation of portraits of the deputy governor to the number 2 citizen of the state. Lucky Igbinoba, EBS News.
The Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, in partnership with the Indomitable Youth Organization, the Jose Maria Escriva Foundation, and other stakeholders, organized a 16-day activism summit aimed at uniting efforts and investing in the prevention of violence against women and girls. Luke Hassan has the details of the report.
Dr. Jude Obasami, the moderator, addressed key issues on how men and boys in society can play an active role in protecting women and girls from gender-based violence. He further emphasized how collaboration with the EBS News crew could help achieve his goal.
Let's try to see how we can have a conversation around what we can do as men, so to say, to reduce this issue of gender-based violence. Because most of the time, most men are abused, young boys are also assaulted. But because of that tag that we have, that you're a male or you're a man, you don't have to cry out. You're not supposed to come out and cry out. And let us know that as men, we are expected to render the required protection to the female folks. This issue of violence is not an issue that we just leave it the way it is. At this summit, we have to realize that we should ensure that the major stakeholders are aware of what is going on, and also the gatekeepers, particularly at the community level, now should know that there are certain rights and privileges that is ascribed in the law that women should benefit from.
In an exclusive interview with the EBS News crew, the director of the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, Mr. Sylvester Okegwale, along with some organizers, shared their insight on the initiative.
From the ministry angle, we are advocating, we are sensitizing, we are moving from local government to local government, enlightening everybody to know that there is need to stop gender-based violence.
We as men, we also need to live as example. You have friends, you have allies, you need to reach out to them, let them understand that treating maybe their wives or their partners as maybe second-class citizens, or not even looking at their right or whatever, or perpetrating any form of violence against them should stop. This is not a time that where men could, maybe you're seeing a very common one is, oh, papa, mama, bobo, don't start again, and you just walk past. Maybe that man could be acting out of ignorance. You reach where to the man, educate him. There are better ways. Of course, the society is kind of frustrating everybody. Let's not take our aggression on our partners.
Participants were also given a platform to express their views and contribute ideas on how to combat gender-based violence effectively.
We are having a 16 days activism against gender-based violence. This activity has been called on by UN Women in support of women, because the women and the girl child are seen to have series of violence on them, and most of the perpetrators of this violence are seen to come from the male gender. So now we have put up a program on the roles and responsibilities that men should pick up to avert this mayhem on the female gender. What we are trying to do is to create a safe space, a safe global space for security and inclusion for the women and for the girl child.
Luke Hassan, EBS News.
Edo State House of Assembly has finally resolved the lingering crisis in Ego Local Government Council. Assembly correspondent Robert Ogebo reports that the conflict resolution took place after the State Parliament intervened in the crisis. The details.
Announced that every crisis in Ego has been resolved. No more quarrels, no more acrimonies. We are now one, and the legislative business of Ego will commence as soon as possible with the best interest of Ego local government people.
That we all will work together with one synergy to deliver the dividends of democracy to the good people of Ego, and work closely together with the executive chairman of Ego to run Ego smoothly. We are one Ego.
Who is the leader? Those were the two factional leaders of the legislative arm of Ego Local Government Council, Honorable Bossade Omokao and Honorable Godwin Edigin, who agreed to shift their swords so that peace might reign in the council.
The chairman, House Study Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Mosigo Uyi Frank, thanked the warring factions for towing the path of peace so that development can continue to thrive in Egon local government area.
Today, I think the two leaders have said to step down and work together as one. And by Monday, we will have our resolution and our findings. But as of today, it is peaceful. And by all committee members, I think we've heard from both sides, and we're also happy that it will be resolved. And the solution everlasting and made known to the public on Monday at the floor of the House.
Other members of the House of Assembly Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs include the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Maria Edeko, Honorable Sunday Aredo, Honorable Atu Osawayi, and Honorable Kesi Unoma Osawayi. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, had earlier mandated the Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to investigate and report back to the House. Robert Ogbebo, EBS News.
Respondents in Benin City have commended President Bola Tinubu for the introduction of tax reforms, which they say will alleviate the sufferings of the ordinary Nigerian. The respondents were speaking against the backdrop of the 4 tax reform bills transmitted to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu for legislative action. The report.
On October 3, 2024, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu transmitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly with the objective to provide for a legal, institutional and regulatory framework for the administration of taxes and revenue under the law. Some features of the President Tinubu new tax reform includes: any business with less than 50 million naira turnover are exempted from the tax payments. Over 90% of workers in both public and private sector will no longer pay income tax. Over 82% of what low-income persons consume will be VAT-free. Scrapping of over 50 nuisance tax suffered by local businesses. Over 90% of small business will no longer pay profit tax, among others. Some respondents, who include Bright Onoviokuko, Purpose Usamoyi, and Bartholomew Okondu, commended President Bola Tinubu for the foresight in coming up with the tax reform bills, adding that, when finally assented to, will positively transform the life of the common man on the streets.
Nigerians should be patient in it to also look at the content of the bill, and let's look at it vis-a-vis how it affects the common man, because whatever thing we are doing with tax that could be in a democratic setting should affect majority of the people positively, not in selected few.
The tax reform is a good thing. One, for the common people now, if you don't end up to 800,000, your company is not supposed to deduct tax from you. You are not supposed to pay tax because what you are earning is less than 800,000. But before now, it is 300,000. So your salary is above 300,000, you are supposed to be taxed. Another one is the VAT. Imagine where alcohol is forbidden in the north. So all the sales they get from alcohol, it is the Southerners that are drinking it. So what the VAT now said that 50% of that, of what the state generates, will be used for the state.
The tax reform, in my opinion, is not even really says that we need to look at that tax reform properly and see the advantages it has on the common man. For instance, if you earn some certain amount of money, think below 1 million or so, you don't pay tax. If your company earns below 50 million, you don't pay tax. So the tax reform is actually out to create the enabling environment for the poor.
For Pastor Victor Isaac, the tax reform bills, though commendable, but how will it better the lots of the ordinary man?
If what we are putting on the table, what the citizens are providing the tax, per se, is going to be used for projects that we can see, the people are willing to pay. But in the time past, what have we seen? Misappropriation of funds.
It is, however, the opinion of the respondents that the new tax reforms should be supported by all to have a wider acceptance by the populace. Friday Ehimoto, EBS News.
The Nigerian Senate has yielded to public pressure, suspending deliberations on the 4 controversial tax reform bills sent in by President Bola Tinubu until contentious issues are sorted out. The Senate has now mandated that the Committee on Finance to halt any further action, including public hearings, until further notice. Ayetutu Alufohai has the details.
In a move to address the disagreements, the Senate has established a 10-member committee tasked with engaging with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, to address the areas of contention. The announcement was made by the Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jimbrim, who presided over plenary. He said a Senate Minority Leader, Abba Moro, would lead the senators to the meeting tomorrow. Other senators who will attend the meeting, as announced by the Deputy Senate President, are the Chief Whip, Muhammadu Tai Mongono, Adamu Aliero, Sereke Dixon, Titus Zam, Abdullahi Yahaya, Solomon Adiola, Sani Musa, and Adetokumbo Abiru.
With respect to the issues surrounding the tax reform bills, all the areas of disagreement, and resolve them for the interest of this nation. It is therefore proposed that by tomorrow there will be a meeting with the committee that will set up here and the leadership to sit down with the Attorney General to look at those issues and resolve them. It's on this note that the Committee on Finance that the bills have been referred to should halt action on public hearing and other issues until we resolve these issues. So by tomorrow we shall sit, the committee shall sit with the committee that has been set up here, which I'm going to read the membership by 12 noon tomorrow, so that we can see all these areas and resolve them for the interest violation.
President Bola Tinubu had on Tuesday directed the Ministry of Justice to work with the National Assembly to address the concerns raised by different stakeholders on the tax reform bills. Ayetutu Alufohai, EBS News.
Past the 2025-2027 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper for implementation by the federal government. The Red Chamber approved the expenditure framework with a total spending of 47.9 trillion naira and a new borrowing plan of 9.22 trillion, which includes both domestic and foreign borrowings. Ayetutu Alufohai has the details.
The passage followed the presentation of a report by the chairman of the Joint Committees on Finance and National Planning and Economic Affairs, presented by Senator Sani Musa. The highlights of the approved recommendations of the 2025 to 2027 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and the Fiscal Strategy Paper include approval of a projected framework with an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to a dollar, the oil prices of $75, $76.2 and $75.3 per barrel for 2025, 2026 and 2027 respectively. During the debate, lawmakers demanded a reduction in the petrol prices against the backdrop of the commencement of the Port Harcourt refinery. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, in his remarks after the passage of the expenditure framework, commended members of the Joint Committee and other lawmakers for their legislative inputs, leading to the approval of the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and the Fiscal Strategy Paper.
The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has now passed the 2025 to 2027 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper for implementation by the Federal Government of Nigeria.
The Senate, however, tasked its committees on finance and petroleum as well as gas to investigate allegations of withheld funds by the NNPC, including 8.48 trillion naira in petrol subsidies and 3.6 trillion naira in unpaid taxes. Also during plenary, the Senate confirmed the nomination of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede for appointment as Chief of Army Staff. The confirmation followed the consideration of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua. Yaradua said the committee was impressed with the high level of understanding, achievements, and excellence stated in the credentials of the nominee. Lieutenant General Oluyede was appointed to act as the Chief of Army Staff following the illness and subsequent death of Lieutenant General Tarid Abiodun Lagbaja. Ayetutu Alufohai, EBS News.
The House of Representatives has urged President Bola Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, to unfreeze the accounts of the National Social Investments Programs Agency within 72 hours. The resolution adopted at plenary this Tuesday followed a motion sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and 20 other lawmakers. Henrietta Momodu has the details of this and other reports.
The House wants the immediate release of funds to NSIPA to settle outstanding stipends for 395,731 Empower beneficiaries and ensure the smooth resumption of programs such as Empower, conditional cash transfers, and the school feeding initiative.
As a result of the suspension of account of NSIPA, the Empower program has been so negatively affected that 395,731 beneficiaries are owed outstanding stipends to the tune of 81,315,540,000 naira, a fund already captured under the 2023 and 2024 Amended Appropriation Act, which will lapse by the year ending 31st December 2024.
Additionally, the House has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) to suspend the retirement of over 1,000 staff and the associated 50 billion naira payoff scheme pending an investigation. A probe led by an ad hoc committee will assess the process, criteria, and legality of the mass retirement and their impact on Nigeria's financial sector. The motion, sponsored by Kama Nkem Kama, also called for the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment to protect the rights of affected staff under Nigerian labour laws.
The House concerned that the sudden mass retirement of over 1,000 staff, including directors and senior management, raises critical questions about the criteria for selection, transparency, and adherence to due process in line with public service guidelines and labor laws. The House further concerned that such as a significant decision has socio-economic implications for the affected individual, their dependents, and the broader economy.
The House also mandated the federal government through the Ministries of Marine and Blue Economy and Transportation to investigate the recent boat mishap.
The most recent incident, which occurred on Friday, November 29, 2024, was the devastating Kogi boat mishap, which took place along the Dambo-Ebuchi waterways of the River Niger in Kupa local government area. This tragic incident involved over 160 passengers, with only 24 rescued, approximately 54 confirmed dead, and unknown numbers still unaccounted for.
Henrietta Momodu, EBS News.
We have reached the halfway mark. You can watch Edo Broadcasting Service on Star Times channel 113